Okay. So anybody here worked already with the Jenkins to have an idea about it in a parallel manner? Nobody?
It's a continuous integration tool.
Okay, super. So it is a CI, right? Continuous integration tool. Apart from that?
Continuous deployment.
Sorry?
Continuous deployment.
Continuous deployment.
CD tool too. So it is not only a CI tool, it is a CD tool too. Super. Anything apart from this? CD, CI. Okay. Super. Let me add some other details related with it. Okay. So whatever now I'm going to speak, everything have been already made as a documentation. So that documentation I will be sharing to you guys once after the end of this particular session. Okay. So you don't need to worry about the documentation items. So I will be sharing all the basic notepads related with it, whatever I have been prepared for Jenkins. Okay. So let me start with something, an introductory manner to understand why you need a Jenkins and what is a Jenkins. First thing to say about Jenkins is an open source product. Okay, and it is a continuous integration, as you guys said, and it's also a continuous deploymental tool. Yes, it is a continuous deploymental tool, but this particular tool in real-time environment, where we will be using, okay, so where we can able to use this particular tool. Now, yes, we can use this particular tool almost in all the cases of your deploymental and your developmental spaces. Okay. So Vivek, I will be recording the session and I will be sharing you. Okay. So I'm doing the recording. You just ping me from your mobile number so that I will be sharing you the recording. Okay. I will be sharing my mobile number also to everyone here. It's 97907425578. So I have pinged you the mobile number of mine in the chat. You can ping me and you can get the recording once after this particular session. Okay. So now coming back to your Jenkins. So Jenkins is an open source product and it is a continuous integration and continuous deploymental. And the basic thing related with the Jenkins is Jenkins definitely need a Java platform so that only on top of that Jenkins can be installed, because Jenkins is really made out of your Java language. For the other reason, it need a Java to be installed on the server where the Jenkins is going to be get installed. And Jenkins can do deployment also, as you guys said. Jenkins can do deployment also, but at a minimal level, not at a maximal level. Why? Because nowadays we have dedicated deploymental and configuration management tools called as Ansible, Chef, Puppet, SaltStock. All these tools came into the market. After this, these tools are into the market. Jenkins was not widely used for deploymental. But still, if we are using deploymental items, okay, deploymental things called as WAR file deploymental or any web application deployment, yes, we guys are still using Jenkins for a minimal level. So almost all over in the world, 5% of the people may be using Jenkins for deploymental, whereas 95% are going ahead with dedicated deploymental tools in DevOps space like Ansible, Salt, Chef, Puppet. So this tool is not widely used for deploymental, but majorly this tool is used for the integrational purpose. So you need to know about the word meaning, what is called as integration. Integration is one of the important activity in DevOps flow. Why? Because if at all you are going to add a CI/CD flow, there will be multiple tools involved to do a meta automation. So to do this meta automation, multiple tools need to be get integrated. You definitely need something called as a single point centralized tool which can play a 360-degree role. That tool is nothing but your AWS tool. Okay, I mean, sorry, your Jenkins tool. So Jenkins plays a very vital role in a very better manner for only one reason. It is used for a centralized, continuous centralized integrational purpose. So this integrational tool plays a vital role in that way. So your CI/CD tool kind of a role, your all other tools are going to perform. The single tool can perform all other tools role. Your Jenkins is used for report generation. Okay, so report generation, and your Jenkins is used for your activity of job creation. So it is used for job creations. So what are all the jobs it can be used for create? Yes, it is used for jobs like restart, okay, and start stop jobs, and batch jobs, report generation jobs, any kind of task it has been allocated. Yes, this particular tool is fantastically handling all those things into a single manner. So that is what the ultimate aim of this particular tool. So this tool plays a very vital role in global perspective for this particular purpose. So I'm going to make you understand in real-time perspective where and all these tools can be integrated, where and all these tools can be used, how an integrational tool, this tool can be successfully used. Everything one by one we will be seeing practically. So nothing need to now waste our time on theoretical learning. Let us jump into something practically by creating a AWS EC2 instance, which is considered to be as a virtual machine. So once after creating a virtual machine, I will be installing my Jenkins on top of the virtual machine. Guys, we are going to learn all the DevOps oriented tools on top of AWS console only. Why? Because we are going to use the base machine as our virtual machine of cloud, because we are learning 10 plus tools into our syllabus. All those tools, if at all we are going to install on top of our laptop, now definitely that will be affecting the our performance of the laptop. To avoid that the case, here what I have done, I have chosen an option of going ahead with integrating the DevOps with cloud. So that way, parallelly, you will be learning how to integrate DevOps with the cloud. So the cloud component, what I'm going to use here now, I'm going to use a cloud component called as EC2. So whoever doesn't know what is AWS or how to create a EC2 instances using a AWS or how to create a AWS account, I will be sharing you the appropriate documentation related with it. So using the document, what you can do now, yes, you can create your own instances and you can launch your Jenkins, Git, or any other DevOps tools on top of that. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create an instance by clicking on the launch instance. This time what I'm going to create now, I'm going to parallelly take you this particular activity as a, in what way I'm going to take it now, I'm going to take it like a task for you. Because in real time, we all will be getting assigned with some task or some of the work orders using a ticketing tool, it will be assigned with. You would have come across some of the ticketing tool called as a Remedy, ServiceNow, okay, HPQC. So multiple tools may be heard out in your real-time environment. All these tools, what they will be doing now, it will be assigning some of the work order tickets or some task to you from your manager. So once your manager assigning the task, how you will be working in a real time, in that manner, I'm going to take forward this particular request of installation and also the process of working with your real time. Okay, so everything we are going to learn in that manner. So let us understand how to work with this particular Jenkins installation. So before that, as I said, I need one important thing. I need a EC2 machine, which is a virtual machine. Virtual machine in a sense that is going to give you a base for you. So that will be the infrastructure. On top of that infrastructure only, we will be installing the prerequisite component called as Java. And then the prerequisite component, on top of the prerequisite component, we are going to install something called as Jenkins. All these are going to be done one by one. Okay, so let me open a paint window and let me show you something interestingly. Let what I'm going to do for now, so that you will be understanding what we are towards with. So I'm going to create a base machine, which is a EC2 machine, which we'll be calling it as an Elastic Computing Cloud that is provided by your AWS. So once the AWS virtual machine is created, on top of that AWS virtual machine, we are going to create a setup that we will be calling it as Java. So the Java 1.8 will be installed on top of it. And on top of Java only, your application will be installed. That is nothing but your Jenkins application. So this Jenkins will be installed on top of Java only. Why? Because Jenkins have a dependency towards Java. So appropriate version of Java I will be installing on a EC2 machine. So let us complete this task one by one. So first thing, I need to create a EC2 machine. Second, I need to install a Java on top of it. And then I will be installing Jenkins. So here I'm going to open a questionnaire session that what we are going to do, I have explained out. Have you understood this one? Or do you have any questions? Yes, you can raise your hands. Or else I will proceeding with the items what we are going to do. Any questions still here so far what we are going to do? Related with the Jenkins, all these things we will do one by one after installing this component on it. Okay, any questions? Fine. Okay, good. Okay, so I think you're all clear now. So let me proceed with something practically. Let me take you into my AWS console. As I said, this is my AWS console. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to follow this particular installation guide. Same like an installation guide will be there in your organization also. So for everyone, there will be an installation guide. So with that installation guide only, we'll be installing your Java or Jenkins on top of any operating system. But today I'm going to use an operating system called as Ubuntu. So I'm going to use an operating system Ubuntu with a version called as 16.04. So probably while I'm installing Jenkins, I need to make sure that what operating system I'm using, because according to that operating system, my commands will be getting deferred. So here the commands, whatever I provided is supportable only with your Ubuntu machine. The same command you are going to run on top of your Amazon Linux machine. It may not be supporting, but don't go so weird. We can go and get the installation document of Jenkins for Amazon Linux also, for Red Hat also, for Windows also. So everything is available in online, and this tool is also a free tier tool. So Jenkins itself will be helpful for you to do this installation under the Jenkins homepage. So don't go panic. You can install anywhere, but now we are installing it with the Ubuntu. Why I specifically go with Ubuntu? Nothing like that specific with Ubuntu. Each DevOps tools, whenever I'm teaching you, I will be teaching it on top of every operating systems available by your AWS. So one day we'll be learning it in Amazon Linux. One day we will be learning it in Ubuntu. Another day we'll be learning it in with Red Hat. So like that, for each tool I have kept for each operating system, so that simultaneously you will be learning your operating system skills also. So that's the sake I have kept in that manner. Got it? So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this particular item in our real-time perspective. So I'm going to proceed out with the installation of my EC2 machine. So go and choose the Ubuntu machine. So if you go and choose here, there will be multiple machines available, but Ubuntu may be coming at the beginning itself, but make sure you are not choosing the appropriate version. We are going to go with as per the description only. So go to the Ubuntu which is available here. Yeah, Ubuntu server is available. 16.04 Ubuntu is available. This is what expected. Let me choose the operating system. Second one is RAM. RAM, we are going to choose a free tier RAM only. So memory is 1 GB memory is going to get allocated. And third is step, always skip this particular step. Why? Because related with this step, I will be teaching you much more detail. One I'm teaching you, private cloud. Now storage is not a big constraint. It is with the default of 8 GB. It is more than enough. Let me proceed with the 8 GB task itself and go to the tags. There you can go and name your machine. Okay, so I'm going to name my machine like the name what I need is, I'm going to name this machine like Jenkins. Why? Because I'm installing Jenkins on top of it, right? So let me name that particular machine like Jenkins. So I'm naming this machine as Jenkins, and then go to your security group. And always while you are standing on a security group, for your learning purpose, always make the port numbers to be opened with all port numbers. So give or choose something called as all TCP. So if we choose all TCP, all the port numbers will be opened with. Why? Because we are not sure what port number Jenkins will be using till this moment, because we may be needed with multiple port numbers also. Since we doesn't know what are all the port numbers needed by your Jenkins, now I'm blanketly opening all the port numbers. Later on I will use those port numbers and I can customize this all TCP also in my later stage. But now I'm going to open all the TCP and review it and launch it. This way I will be choosing some of the existing key which is there with my system itself. So let me go and choose the same key and launch the instance. So now I'm launching my instance. So this machine is getting created. This is an Ubuntu machine, which is for my Jenkins, and it is having an IP address available here. So let me pick that public IP and go to PuTTY to log in into it. So using a PuTTY, I'm going to log in into my machine. So I'm going to use the key file which is available for me. So it's key 1202 PPK file, and open this into this particular machine and wait for this pending to running, then proceed out with your logging in of your PuTTY machine. Okay, so now I'm going to log in into my PuTTY machine. Hold on for a minute, my system got a little bit hung. Yeah, so this is my PuTTY machine. Let me log in into my PuTTY machine. So this PuTTY machine will be expecting a username. The username of Ubuntu machines, always it will be Ubuntu. Make sure for your Amazon Linux machine will be giving EC2, right? So here I'm going to use Ubuntu. So UNT U. So this is going to be my Ubuntu machine. So once after I'm logging into it, yes, it's successfully logged into my machine. Let me change the font of this machine and the connection timeout. Yeah, successfully have logged into my machine now. Okay. So till here, any questions you have, you can ask with me. Why? Because we have completed one phase, that is infrastructure phase we have completed. So most of the people here knows how to create a EC2 machine. Who doesn't know, don't worry. The thing what I have done now, I'll be sharing as a documentation for you. You can follow the same to get your own machine. Okay. So now I'm logged into my EC2 machine, which is a Ubuntu flavor. So the operating system Ubuntu is now logged in with. Basically, let us give a quick check whether we have already our Java installed on top of it or not. Okay. So if you go and see here, you can see that Java is installed or not by running a command Java version. But if you give this particular command, it will be throwing an output that Java is not found, but Java can be found from the available repositories. So you can pick any one of the available repositories and you can proceed with it. Okay. Why don't we use? Yes, we can use Sandeep. We can use 1.8 also. I mean 16.04 also. But the tool what now I'm going to install is compatible with the 16.04. Means 16.04 only. That's the reason. When you do your practicals, you try with the 18.04 and check out what is the challenge or the problem you are facing out. Because why? Because 18.04 by default will be supporting the Java 11. So that may not be required for this particular Jenkins. For that the reason I'm using 16.04. Yes, you can use 16.04 and also 18.04, whatever the operating system you need. That particular operating system of Ubuntu you can pick for sure. Okay. So now I have installed my now I'm going to install my Java. Okay. To install my Java, I have a installation guide here. So this installation guide contains 4 to 5 steps. It is more easier to understand. First, let us understand, and then let us proceed with the installation of our Java. Okay. So first step, EC2 creation over. On top of that, Java we are going to install. To install Java 1.8, that is your 8 Java is going to get installed. The first step here meant for the purpose of downloading the product file from the repository. So your add repository, this particular command will be useful for you to download the product file into your local machine. The second step is to update the environment so that your environment will come to know about the downloaded Java 8 information, so that when we are proceeding with the third step of installation of Java, we will be having the appropriate Java 8 available in our downloads to download. So first step download, second step update, third step update of the environment, and third step is the installation of the 1.8 Java product. So I'm going to install now OpenJDK 8 product, and 401 MB of size is going to be required for this particular installation. I'm okay with that. I'm giving Y and I'm proceeding with the installation. According to your Wi-Fi speed, it will be maximum taking a 45 seconds to 1 minute maximum for this installation of Java. So once this installation of Java is successful, you can now issue a command called as Java space -version, which will be giving what appropriate version of Java has been installed. So I'm going to use this particular command to check whether what version of Java is available with. Yes, as per our wish, 1.8 Java or 8 Java is installed on top of this particular machine. You can able to see the OpenJDK version. So this clarifies that our Java installation is over. On top of that same, next thing what we need to do now, we need to install our Jenkins. Same like Java, for Jenkins installation also 4 to 5 steps are available. One by one, first let us understand for what purpose we have these steps. Then I will take you into the installation. Okay. The first thing is you can able to see the first step, which is a wget command. Okay. Wget command is a Linux command which is used for downloading anything from a URL. Okay, so you can able to see one URL available here. HTTPS URL is available. This URL will be giving you a key for your Jenkins. Even though Jenkins is an open source, you need to install that particular Jenkins on top of your machine or your cloud. You need to download a key. That key download only here we are going to do. So copy that particular command, wget command, and start to install it. It will be downloading a key for you. So this OK output shows you that you have installed with the key. So once this OK output comes out, you can now go to the next command, which is related with an echo command, where here you can able to see another URL. This URL is used for downloading your binaries of your Jenkins. So Jenkins is going to have a downloadable binary. Use Java information initially, it has given some repository files. Can we select one among instead typing the command of the Java installation? Yes, you can choose that one also. That was the command which is to choose for the binary. Yes, I have chosen the binaries from this particular path. Okay, so Manji, answering for your question, I have downloaded Java from this particular version. I mean, from this particular repository. Same like whatever the repository is listed out there, you can pick any one. I have picked OpenJDK version. This is what the one you have seen in the downloads. So I have picked Java of this particular version. Same like you can pick whatever the thing you need. Okay, so you have full freedom of it, but I'm focusing towards Java 1.8. Yes, we can use Java 1.8. Okay. I have already installed Java and Jenkins. Shoot, what is the question is? Naveen Kumar, I have already installed Java and Jenkins. Should I reinstall? Why you need to reinstall if you have already Jenkins? You are already married now, you are already in trouble. Why you want to remarry? Okay, forgot about that. You don't need to do. So now go here and give an echo command. So this particular echo command is going to now write the particular URL content information into this particular Jenkins list file. Okay, so first let us go and see what is there in this particular path. Okay, let me take you into this particular path because there in that particular path only I'm going to create a file. Okay, so here already your Jenkins which you Java which you downloaded is available as a file. The same like you are going to create another file which is called as jenkins.list file using this particular command. Why? Because this file will be holding now the information of your Jenkins. Okay, let me go and open this file and show for you. Cat etc apt source.list.d jenkins.list. This particular path will be holding now the Debian file information of from where the Jenkins need to be get downloaded. So package jenkins-ci.org is a command which is a Debian binary command. This particular Debian binary command will be used for the download of Jenkins. I'm not going to download anything here. Just I'm writing the source file information and I'm keeping it under my jenkins.list. So my jenkins.list will be holding the source file information available for me. And now let me go ahead with the updation of the environment. Why? Because my environment need to get update related with the key, what it is downloaded, and also the Jenkins package from where it can be get downloaded. So those informations are now stored and kept out here. Same like now I'm going to run the installation of Jenkins command. So this command will be helpful for you to download your Jenkins and install your Jenkins and start your Jenkins. So altogether this particular operation which I now performed apt-get install Jenkins will be installing my Jenkins on top of the server. Without any hesitation, it is going to go ahead with the installation. So this installation is in progress. Once this installation completely done, this particular log which is rolling out will get out and it will be coming back to the command line. There we can check our Jenkins installation. So Java space hyphen version, if I gave now, I got the version of my Jenkins, right? Same like version of my Java. Same like now I'm going to check first whether the Jenkins is running or not. Okay, so I'm going to use a command called as Jenkins. ps-ef grub command is a command which is used to verify any process is running in your server. So I'm grabbing it with the Jenkins now. Whether the Jenkins process is running or not, it will be showing out. So this is the first validation step which you need to do with your Jenkins to understand that your Jenkins has been successfully downloaded and installed and started. Yes, the Jenkins is successfully started and you can able to see that Jenkins is running under a port number called as 8080. So here we need to make a note that Jenkins default port number is 8080. So this is what the port number gray area which we had earlier. So now I'm disclosing the first port number related with the Jenkins. The Jenkins will be defaultly running in a port number called as 8080. So I'm going to lock 8080. So let me take this 8080 port number to my browser. Okay. And also let me copy the IP address of my Jenkins running machine. and post it into my browser with a port number called as 8080. So if I run with 8080, check out if the Jenkins has been installed on top of my machine, I can able to see a sign-in page for my Jenkins. Yes, you can able to see a unlock page for your Jenkins. Jenkins is now successfully launched on top of your machine. So if you copy this particular path and go to your server now, under your server, you can able to see a initial password available for you. So copy this particular initial password and put it under your administrative password and proceed with the installation. This is what unlocking your Jenkins. Why? Because the Jenkins was locked status. You got the password from the, which is an initial password from the server as an administrator, and you installed your Jenkins. Now your Jenkins is installed, but it is asking for a customization where you can install some of the plugins whichever needed. I have a plugin called as a installable suggested plugin, and also some of the plugin, if you need, you can also pick a plugin. I'm not going to pick any plugin. Why? Because I'm not that much good enough in understanding what the plugin need to be used at this stage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead with the available installation. So whatever Jenkins is going to prefer for me, that 15-20 plugins, whatever it is available, let Jenkins itself download those, and Jenkins itself, let's start to get installed on top of that. So that way I'm going to now get started with downloading my Jenkins plugins. So here you need to know what is called as a plugin. Guys, plugin is so easy. Plugin is all an add-on related with the Jenkins. Jenkins is already functioning for you, but apart from that, you need some other thing which is related with as a plugin or an extra combination to get connected with Ant, Gradle, Git, pipeline, subversions, LDAP. For all those extra performance, your Jenkins need to do some integration purpose, right? For that the purpose, these plugins are used. Since I told Jenkins is an integrational tool, for all integration kind of activities, you need to use these plugins. So now the plugin installation is over. All those plugins are the default plugins. So all the plugins have been successfully installed. So my next activity is going to be, I'm going to set up my own username and password for the machine. Check out, I'm going to give a simple username password. So I'm going to give an admin as a username and password as a 1234. So let me give my name itself here for the administrator, and I'm going to give my email ID here, so that using my email ID, hereafter I will be controlling this particular environment. So karthikgovind7@yahoo.com is going to be my email ID. So now everything is successfully given out. So till here you can able to see your initial password available with your server. Go to your server. If you put a cat command, you can still see your initial password is active. There is a difference between an initial password and there's a difference between an initial password and a one-time password. One-time password means one time once you used, after that it will not be in use. But initial password will be still active until you set up another username and password. So that way this password now I'm going to set up for this machine, right? Check out, now I have set it up for it. Once I set it up this particular password, now what happens to my initial password? Now that initial password would have got expired. Check out, I'm using the same cat command. Yes, the initial password, the file itself not available, which shows that the password is not available for you. Okay, so now take up an assignment. Okay, I'm going to put that assignment in the chat for everyone. Okay, so everyone, what is an assignment? Na? You are going to check, okay, where the new password is lying. I have installed one password, right? Where that new password is lying. So 1234 I gave one password, right? So new password, where it is available, in which file. So you are going to check in which file or which path it is available with. Okay, so I have put that as an assignment for you guys, and I have pasted that into my chat also. You can refer the chat to copy this assignment. Guys, once just understand one thing, every time when I'm giving an assignment, try to go and check out on those assignments. Why? Because these assignments are all one day going to come as an interview questions for you. Because I think 80 to 90% of here who are seated in this particular participants list, I can see that everybody is looking for a job. Once you are looking for a job, make sure that you are doing a right job or a right thing to get a job. So always follow the tutor's assignment, not only my assignment, the one who is going to join as a co-trainers of mine in your future also going to give multiple assignments for you. Take up all your assignments so seriously, then only it will be worth for you. Got it? So it's not anything for us. Okay. So it's going to be worth for you. So what I'm going to do now, I got my Jenkins. Now my Jenkins homepage is launched out. Now it's time to open a questionnaire session. Okay. So anybody have any questions here? Yes, you can raise your hands, or you can open your mute and you can start to speak so that I will be helpful for your questions. Okay. Any questions still here? I didn't understand that why we are doing this installation. I didn't understand why we need a prerequisite called as Java. Like that, any questions you have, any simple question or any weird question, no worries, you can ask with me. I am seeing some of the chats. Which version of Java Jenkins is installed? Yes, it's 1.8. So 1.8 Jenkins has been installed with. So you can call it as Jenkins install version. Okay, Java version I thought. Okay, so that's going to be the surprisable question. Check out here at the bottom of the Jenkins page what you can able to see. The Jenkins version is Jenkins version 2.227. This is what going to be the version of your Jenkins. Okay, you can check out that from the command line also. Okay, so how we will be checking out in the command line, I will be teaching you later on. Okay, so I'm seeing the another question, is this one-time installation? Yes, absolutely. One time only we are going to install, and later on we are going to work with the Jenkins. Unless we are going to delete this particular machine or this cloud setup, your Jenkins machine will be available for you. We have done the installation through Putty. Okay, why not in a normal way, like downloading the files, searching in Chrome? That is Windows setup, right? So yes, we can do the Windows setup also, at least in one operating system. I need to show for you, right? Yes, you can do it in Windows or you can do it in Linux, whatever it may be. Okay, so options are available for you. I have chosen one of the option, which is a rare option, which I need to choose rather than working with Chrome and all. You itself can check out. It's so easier manner. I don't want to teach you in an easier manner. So that's the reason I have chosen the first thing to show as a assignment. To upgrade Jenkins, should we delete and install again? No need. There are plugins available. You can use plugins to upgrade it. How to install plugins, we will see later. Is it possible installing plugin in command line? Yes, we have options available. In Jenkins, we have something called as a Jenkins CLI also. So using CLI also, we can able to install it. So if you go here under your Jenkins page, you can able to see Jenkins CLI for all your commands. Yes, you can go through here and you can do your installation. There you can able to see the list of plugins and plugins installable commands available for you. Yes, you can do from that way also. Okay, any other questions? I see. Can you summarize the things we have done so far? Super. Definitely I will be doing that before I proceed out with it. So that any other questions? For upgrade, can we use get update command? What is get update command? We use get update command for upgrade. Can we use get update command? That is your operating system level upgrade. Which upgrade you are looking for? Whether it is going to be a Jenkins upgrade or your operating system upgrade. Operating system upgrade now, earlier you have been using 16.04, right? Yes, you can use wget command, apt-get command to move to 18.04 also. Could you please tell once again about the Jenkins installation command? Definitely I will be doing that. Okay, that's it. Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to summarize the thing so far what we did. First, we initially started with the understanding what is Jenkins. Okay, and then we started to go ahead with the why we need Jenkins. And then I started to teach you what is the prerequisite for Jenkins. And then we started to create an EC2 machine. So creating an EC2 machine, I will be sharing you the documentation I told, right? So we'll be knowing how to create a EC2 machine. But what EC2 machine I have created now? I have created a EC2 machine which is nothing but a Ubuntu 16.04 flavor. So using 16.04 flavor I have been used with. And then next step of what I have done, I have logged into my machine and become a root user. Once I become a root user, then I got full access to do any kind of installation. So my first installation was my Java installation. But before proceeding with the Java installation, what I did now, I have verified the Java whether it's already available in the Ubuntu machine. But unfortunately, it was not available, and it suggested me some of the Java versions which we can get it from the repository. And then what I did, I proceeded with my Java installation. To do a Java installation, first I need to download the binaries, and then I need to update the environment. And the third step, I need to install the Java. And fourth step, I verified my Java with a command called as Java space -version. Never ever worry about the commands. Why? Because commands will be definitely differing according to the operating system to operating system. But what we exactly do, that alone you need to know. Yes, all the four steps, the meaning I have already told. One is downloading from the repository. The second one is updating the command, updating the environment. And the third one is installing the OpenJDK. And the fourth one is verifying the Java. Once the Java installation is done, later on we proceeded with the Jenkins installation. Including verification, Jenkins have 5 steps. The first step is we downloaded the key for the Jenkins. The second step, we have written and kept under a path called as source.list.t. Under this particular path, a file got created, Jenkins.list, with the information of about where the Jenkins need to be downloaded. As someone asked, you can directly download it from the binaries also. You can directly put it from the Chrome and you can download. But what you need to do now, again, you need to push that from your local machine into your EC2 machine. There again, we need to use WinSCP tool to move out. For that, the reason I have used this particular option to directly download it into my server rather than avoiding 2 or 3 steps extra to be done. And the third thing is sudo apt get update, which means it is an environmental update. You have information about the Jenkins key and you have information about your Jenkins product file, right? So what you need to do here now, you need to know that you are updating your environment. And then I have installed the Jenkins. After I installed the Jenkins successfully, I verified the Jenkins with the ps-ef command, and also I have verified it from the browser perspective also. So what I did now, I have hit the browser with the 8080 port number, which is a default port number of my Jenkins. I think I have completed my summary so far. So is it fine? Can I proceed with my Jenkins? Everyone good, right? Cool.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me proceed out with my Jenkins walkthrough of the console. Okay. So now we are having a Jenkins console for us. Using this Jenkins console, yes, we are going to proceed it out. What are all the things we are going to proceed it out now? Yes, one by one, let me tell you. First thing, Jenkins have a page here which is useful for you to create a new job for your Jenkins. So if you hit on this particular URL, it will be taking you into a creation of a new job. And if you hit on here, it will be taking you into creating a new job. So both the URL, both the thing are going to do the same activity only. Let me hit any one of them to create a job. So first activity, now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a job with a name called as a test. It's a simple job because Jenkins is all about creating jobs, generating reports, and running the builds and connecting it together and creating pipelines and doing automatic deployments. All these are the things which we saw in the initial thing, right? So one by one, I'm going to teach you. So what are all the things that Jenkins can perform? So here we are understanding the activities of the Jenkins. So first thing, I'm going to give a name for my job called as a test. So let me create a job with a name called as a test, and let me choose a freestyle project. Why? Because that will be having a more customization option. And you have a rights, full rights to choose or create whatever you need. Yes, you can create whatever the option available here, but I'm going ahead with the freestyle now. Later on, I will tell about the other options, what are all the things available here. So choose a test, choose a freestyle project, and click on OK. That will be taking you into the next page. When you move on to the next page, there you will be having multiple buttons. At the top, you can able to see like source code management, build triggers, build environment, build post build, all are available. Each button's activity you are going to understand one by one. But the very foremost one, which most of the developer or administrator will be using, is a build button. So let me click on the build button alone first to show you what I am going to create for you. So click on this build button and click on this execute shell. So once you click on this execute shell, it will ask you to write some scripts command, or you can click this Windows batch also, but you should have installed your Jenkins on top of a Windows environment. But here in our case, we install it on our Linux environment. Since I have installed it on the Linux environment, I'm choosing the option called as execute a shell so that I can execute any of the shell command. So I'm going to execute a shell command as an example. So for a trial purpose, I'm giving a date command. Okay. So if you go to your server and you are writing any command called as a date, now the output will be nothing but the server date with the timestamp. The same thing here going to come as an output. Let us witness it whether this job is successfully created or not. Don't ever worry about what script it is, okay, and just see that how the job got created. So here we are not learning any scripting, we are learning how a Jenkins job will be getting created. So I'm creating a simple Jenkins job with a date command. Once I created, you can able to see here a screen available for you. This screen will be detailedly demonstrating you the information about the basic Jenkins. So Jenkins have some information like a status ball, which is showing like a not built, and a weather ball condition, which is showing like the current status of the job and also the last 5 consecutive status of the job. This is showing only the current status, and it is going to speak about the average of 5 jobs. Okay, so here none of the job has been run still now. So I'm going to run the job for the first time. To run the job, you can able to see here a button available for you, which is a build button. So go and click on this build button. Once you click on this build button, then automatically this job will be started to run. Then when you refresh your screen of Jenkins, you can able to see the ball color changed to blue. If a ball color earlier it was in gray or silver in color, right? It means that the ball shows that the job is not ran even for a single time. At least if it is ran for a single time, now that is successfully, now it will be showing as a blue color. If it is failed, now it will be showing in a red color. So our job is successful now. That is why it is showing in a blue color. And also you can able to see the weather condition shows as sunny, which means that there is no failure in job. So that the job has been successful, because one time only the job has ran. That one time also it has run successfully. That is why the successful percentage is 100%. If 2 times it ran and 1 time it is failed and 1 time it is run successfully, then the successful percentage will be 50. Why? Because one out of 2 it got failed. So that way, this particular weather condition will be always speaking about the symbol will always speak about the consecutiveness of success, consecutiveness of a failure. So this here shows you that your job is successful. So yes, my job is successful here. I can able to see the sunny weather showing here. So this is the sign code which shows me that my job has been successfully ran. If I need to go and verify my logs, go and click on this test window. There you can able to see the build history. Under your build history, if you go, yes, you can able to see console output. If you click on this console output, you can able to see the job has been successfully called the date command, and the output is nothing but something called as the current date of your server. So this way the job has been successfully called out. So if anything happens wrong to a job, now how it is going to react, that also we are going to check out. Let me go to the configure section of this particular job and change the mode of the job, so that the command will get failed. For example, if I'm going to give a dat command instead of date command, definitely there is no command called as a dat in Unix. So definitely it will be failing out. If it is failing out, now how the job will be looking, that also you need to know, right? That's the reason I'm making this particular scenario as a test case. So now let me go and run the job. This time the dat command will be creating a failure, and see the ball color and also the weather condition. The ball color would have been turned to red, which shows that the ball shows that the current job got failed. So the last job which was ran here was successfully not launched out. That is why it is showing you a failure note. Same like if you go to the weather condition, you can able to see that the weather condition shows as a cloudy, which means that the weather condition become off, filled with 50% of successful rate only. Why? Because 2 jobs are for ran, 1 job failed and 1 job is successful. That's the reason it's showing you like a 50% success, 50% failure, which means that there is something went wrong. Same like here, you can come to an assumption seeing this sign code itself. Why Jenkins has kept the sign code? Now, if you have having hundreds of jobs, all those hundreds of jobs, you need to run from your window. Yes, you can view with the sign code itself. Okay, well, date changes every day in this job. When date changes every day, yes, that is going to bring the output of the server date only, right? The server date will change, the output also will be changing for sure. Okay, this is a question for Nanda. I'm answering for him. And now coming back to your Jenkins. So a job got failed, so that is why you can able to see the weather condition changed out. Same like if you go and run the job for multiple times, check out what happens from running for one more time. Check out the ball condition will be remaining red in color only, but the weather condition turns to rainy, which means that the weather condition got failed. Why? Because the failure percentage now turned to 66%. Why? Because last 3 build, 2 build got failed, 1 build alone got successful. That's the reason I'm saying this statement, that the weather condition shows that the job got failed once again. Same like whenever you are running the build again and again and again, the weather condition will be turning out, but the ball will not change out. Why? Because ball always speaks about the current job only, the last job which was ran. But the weather condition always speaks about the consecutiveness of the job. Check out now here. You can able to see the weather condition goes wild to a thundering mode since out of last 5 builds, 4 build got failed. So the script got failed for various reasons. If at all it is going to get failed, na, the last failed thing you need to know, na, you can know it from your status of the ball. But if you want to know how many times it got failed in the last 5 thing, na, yes, it will be helpful for you to see from your weather condition. This is just like your cricket batsman who is playing in an ODI. At the bottom, you can able to see his score. Sometimes they will be putting the last 5 innings score also, which shows that what is the consecutiveness of the batsman. The same like here, we can able to see that the last 5 bills of the job got a success or failure. Accordingly, the weather condition will be. So you can assimilate your business things with this particular item. So this is what all about. Okay. Console output now just to see the error. Super. Definitely I will be showing out. So you can see the error by going to the test and click on this. There you can able to see the console output of the failure as dat. Dat means the command not found. So dat command not found. So the execution of the shell got failure. So this execution of shell got failure due to the reason that an incorrect command has been ran. So now I just showed you how to create a job and work with any of these jobs. So now I'm going to teach you how to delete this particular job. If you click on test, yes, you can able to see that if you want, you can delete your job also by clicking on this delete projects. So once you click on it, you can delete your project also. So now I taught you how to create a job, how to work with the job, how to see the console output of the job, and also how to delete the job and how to understand the weather condition of the job. Now the next foremost thing what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create 3 jobs for you. Okay, what are all the 3 jobs now? One job is going to be a dev job. Okay, so dev project I will be calling it as a, so I will be calling it as a dev project. Let me create in a freestyle manner and let me give a script for it. Not a very big script and all, a small an easy script like uptime. Okay, so this particular script, let me give it out and let me save the script. So I created one job, but not only one job, I'm going to create now 3 jobs for you. Why? Because then only I can show you how consecutively we can make multiple jobs to run. Okay, so this time I'm going to create a test project also. Okay, that project was a dev project. This is going to be my test project, like my test environment. And here also let me put the build script as a uptime. Okay, and let me create the 3rd job also. This one I will be naming it as a prod job. PROD prod project. And now I have totally 3 jobs. What are all they now? One is dev job, another one is a test job, and the other one is prod job. So totally I have 3 jobs. This is just like your 3 environments of your real time. In your real time, you can able to see 3 environments for minimum. There may be 4 or 5 environments also, but minimum we will be having 3 environments. What are all those environments? Development environment, test or QA environment, and then your production environment. Like that I have created here 3 environments. So 1, 2, 3, totally 3 environments are available here. Now what I'm going to teach you now, I'm going to make you to understand in real time how these jobs are queued up. So that only one job I will be calling up. According to the success, it will be calling the next job. If it is failed, it will not be proceeding in calling the next job. That way, I'm going to manage it out. My dev test prod projects. Check out what I'm doing. Listen carefully. Go to your dev project. Okay, next to your dev project, what project need to be called up? Na test project need to be called up. So go to the configuration window. There you can able to see one post build action button. So go and click on this post build action button. There we can able to see an option called as build other jobs or build other projects. Choose that problem and choose your test project. So give test, automatically the name will be popped out, and then give a prod also. If you want to give multiple projects, yes, you can give comma, 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 and then you can add multiple projects also. But now if I give a test project and prod project like this as per the screen, once the dev project is called up, it will automatically call the test project, and also it will be calling the prod project. This is not encouraged here. So what I'm going to do now, after dev project, test alone need to call. Only if test is success, it need to call the prod. So I'm not going to give prod project here. Let me remove that button and come down. You can able to see 3 radio buttons available for you. One is trigger only if the build is stable. Another one is trigger even if the build is unstable. The third one is trigger even if the build fails. It means first option, only if the build is stable, that is weather condition is good only, it should be called out the next job. Trigger even if the build is unstable, even the weather condition is worst, not a deal, you can call the job. Trigger even if the build is fails, even you can see the red color ball, yes, you can call it out. So which is the best option? The first one will be the best option. Let me choose that best option, first one, and save it out. So now totally one job behind that, the another job has been kept out. So dev followed by test has been made. Now test followed by prod need to be made. So now I'm going to take you into test project, and the same post build action I'm going to choose, and I'm going to add a prod job next to my test job. Check out how I'm doing that. Go to your prod projects and give prod projects and save it up. So this way now you have queued up your jobs. So the first job will be your dev job. Second job will be your test job. Upon success of test, it will be calling your prod job. So that way I have been now queued up my jobs. This is what called as queuing of jobs in Jenkins. So now 3 jobs, for example, I have picked, and in this 3 jobs I have added one by one behind the other. Check out now I'm going to run only one job, which is nothing but the test project job. Everybody put your eyes on here, the build queue. You can able to see that all the other jobs are also queued up here. Now I'm going to run the first job called as a dev project. Check out here, automatically your test project has been queued up. Sometime later to your test project, your next project called as your dev called, then test, then prod, like that it will be keep on calling one by one, which shows you that this is the way you can queue up and you can keep it up your environment. So that way now I have ultimately queued it up. Now all the 3 jobs has been successfully ran. Check out by refreshing the screen. You can able to see dev, test, prod projects are available. Okay, so these projects can be now added up, and all these projects can be viewed from your screen. Okay, so this is what called as how to create a job with Jenkins and how to manage your jobs in a queued up manner. So in this queued up manner, one by one of the jobs I can call it out. But this is not alone a best thing. There is another thing also available in real time. All the guys who are all working in production support will not be having an access towards this Jenkins window. So they will be restricting the access as per the role. That is a different thing. But only one project alone I need to get an access to run. Whenever I need, yes, I can give that particular access for you as a Jenkins administrator. How I can give that particular access? Let me create another job here. Let me name that particular job as a XYZ, for example. Okay. And now I'm going to give some customization option to this particular job by giving a build script as a date itself. Now this XYZ job is available for me. Now this job is not even run for a single time. Keep it aside. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set up a remotely calling option for this particular job. I'm going to set up a remotely calling option. What is called as remotely calling option? You will be coming to know it in some time. Just to hold on for it. There is a trigger button available here, which is called as build trigger. If you choose this particular option of build trigger, you can go and choose here build periodically. And also there is an option called as build remotely. Build periodically, first let us choose build remotely, so that any unplanned activity, suddenly somebody asking you to go and run this particular job, now you can use this particular option. If it is a planned activity, then you can go ahead with an option called as a build periodically. I will come to that build periodically later. First, let me give here one authentication token. Any number you can put it, just I'm putting 1245, like a password only it is. And at the bottom of this, you can able to see one URL, which is starting from Jenkins till the token name. Copy that URL and put it into a notepad. Okay, you can able to see here a notepad. This token name will be replaced with the user ID or the password which I have given. That is 123455 I have given here, right? So that password I need to add it out. Now let me save this option. And same like your Jenkins is having a Jenkins URL. Copy that Jenkins URL also and put it here in this way. Okay, so I'm going to pick out my http:// and IP address followed by port number with this URL. This is the URL which I have created now. Keep this URL aside. Come to your Jenkins. This job is not even run for a single time. Okay, make sure. Now I'm going to run this job remotely without clicking this button. I'm not going to click this button. Rather than you are going to see that this job is automatically called out remotely. How this is possible? Na? Go to the another browser and give this particular URL. Hit. Once you hit this particular URL, you can able to see after some time this job started to call out. Check out. This job called out for one time. I have not even clicked anything here. I just ran this particular URL. This URL automatically made this job to run, which shows that this is what the way your job can be called remotely without even touching the console. This will be used in the case of when you need to call a job remotely without having the access of your Jenkins. But there is another option which we will be calling as scheduling the job. This we will be using when we are having a planned activity. What is called as planned activity? Now, for example, sharply midnight at 12 o'clock, a job need to be called out without any intervention. Okay. So that an administrator doesn't mean that you need to stay till 12 o'clock. Automatically that will be called out from your server like a cron tab. How that will be happening, we are going to view it in some time. Okay. So I got a question from Naveen Kumar. The configuration which we are doing will be applicable for the particular job. Yes, we are doing in that way only. We are doing only for individual jobs, so that all individual jobs are being done in that way only. So even though it is a queued up job, the first job for what we are queuing up, that alone will be effective. So the remote person who runs a job by hitting that URL will not know if the job ran successfully or not. Yes, you can write something script for this output also, like it is successfully called or not. That your developer will be developing and giving whether it is called, the job has been called. Why? Because it should not be like running this job for multiple times, right? Because without seeing any output, what the guy will be thinking, it is not at ran. So he will be clicking one more. Then it ultimately end up with a tragedy, right? So that is also not encouraged. So definitely you will be having an output here that you can customize by writing a scripting output like an echo command, so that this job will be having a front end also, and that can be called out. So a script can be added here. Okay. So definitely that depends upon in what way the job need to be called out. Okay. So that is also an option. Cool. So now I'm going to now end up with the another item, the last item, which I was showing you now, how to schedule a job. Yes, there is an option called as scheduling a job. Go to the same option, build a trigger, where we saw something called as periodically calling. Instead of your remotely calling, now this time choose periodically calling. If you choose this periodically calling option, it will be asking you to schedule a scheduler. So here I'm going to schedule it with 5 stars, star, space, star, space, star. So totally 5 stars I have been given. Star, space, star, space, star, space, star, space, star. It means if you come out of this window and if you click outside, automatically at the bottom you can able to see the meaning behind it. Check out what is the meaning. Do you really mean every time when you say 5-star, it means every minute the job need to be called out? Yes, I need the job need to be called out every single minute. Actually, why I'm setting like that now, then only I can able to show you the output immediately. But I'm not going to set this like this in my real time. Why? Because no job will be called every minute. Okay. But for our trial and error purpose, I need to show you some output very instantly, right? For that the reason I'm setting up in that way. So if you go and save this, you can able to see that like a cron tab has been set up. Now this job has been ran for only one time, right? Just hold on for 1 minute. You can able to see that the one number turned to two number after a minute. Why? Because I have set it up a remotely calling option, changed to periodically calling. Periodically calling, na, just like a cron tab how you are sitting in your server, you can set up this item also, so that this item will be starting to regularly call this job every 1 minute once. So if you are allowing 5 minutes now, 5 times it will be called, and you can able to see the change in number also here. So let me now refresh the screen. Is there anything change in number? Anna? No, because it's not yet done with 1 minute. So probably if 1 minute has done out, you can able to see the change in number also, that your job has been successfully called out. So this case, which shows a scheduled manner, so that if you have a planned business, you can go ahead with a schedule. If you don't have any plan, okay, it's not a planned activity, but whenever you are getting an update, that time only you need to run this job, na, then that will be a scheduled manner, okay, non-scheduled manner. Then you need to go ahead with the remotely calling option. Now you can able to see that XYZ job turned to number 2. Okay, so every time it will be starting to call your job every minute, so that now it's already 24 seconds has been up. If you wait for another 30 seconds, it will be called out for the third time also. Okay, so like that it will be keep on calling out, but I'm not going to encourage this one. Why? Because it will be affecting my server's performance. Just like that, I have given it for a trial and error manner for you. But you guys can ask me, this is for every minute, Karthik, but for every hour what I need to do, or for every 15 minutes once what I need to do, na? Yes, you can take the help of Jenkins itself. Go and click on this help button. It will be explaining more in detail about how to set up this particular build activities. From top to bottom we have with the examples. So all these things will be detailedly explaining you in real-time perspective how we can go ahead with these items. Okay, so you can go through this as a self-study, and you can come to a conclusion that in what way you can manage out your project. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this build periodically option. Why? Because I don't want my particular thing keep on running for every minute. Okay, so now it's totally ran for 3 times. So this way, if I am allowing it, it will be keep on running for every minute once. So that's the reason I have just stopped the same. Got it? So I have just given a quick introduction related with how a job need to be created in a Jenkins, and how in real-time environment basically a job nature will be with. So nothing with script, just with the example purpose only I have been worked with. So this would have given you an idea how to create a job and how to work with a job, right? So in the upcoming sessions, we will be seeing how to manage the user, or we will be seeing how to work with the environment, and how to do an auto deployment, and how to create a pipeline. All those advanced topics will be done for you. And the same thing, this recording I will be sharing for you guys. So this recording you can make a use and do your practicals, and also this installation documentation also I will be sharing for you. All these things, once after I'm getting your numbers, if anybody new here, you just ping me, which I shared the number in the group chat. So you can share me there, I will be sharing it. But before closing it, do you have any questions related with Jenkins? Yes, you can ask with me. You can ask me with me in chat, or else you can ask with me in by unmuting also. So I'm ready to share you the details. Okay. Is there any questions from your end? Everybody is fine?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. This is the acknowledgement from everyone.
Yeah, fine, sir.
Cool.
Yes, got it. Fine.
Good, good, good. Super. So is it easy for your understanding?
Fine.
Is it so easy, or else Jenkins is bit tough for you? Yeah, it's easy, right? So probably Jenkins will be becoming more easier when you start to do your own practicals. So try to do your practicals with the documentation what I'm going to share for you. Okay. So when you're coming up for the next session, it will be much more easier for your understanding also. So that way I will encourage you guys to do your practicals without compromising. Okay. Why? Because when you are coming for the advanced sections in the next upcoming things, it will be much more tough for you guys and it is not so easy story, right? So make sure that you are not giving up yourself and try to learn it in that manner. Okay. Anything else you need to ask with me before we leave?
Yeah, Karthik, there is one question in chat. Whether the remote person who runs the job by hitting the URL will not know if job runs successfully or not. Can you answer that, please?
Yeah, that is what I said, right?
He
May not,
answered.
yeah, he may not be knowing it. Why? Because there is no output from the screen, right? For example, if I'm writing a script like job has been called, successfully called out, like that, if anything like a script I'm writing out, yes, that will be an option for it. Okay. So rather than it will not be easily shown out directly for you, right? So you need, it will take some external output remedy only. Jenkins by default will not give this, that thing for you. You need to externally write some script related with it with the help of your developer and you need to get the things done. Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Super. Anything else? I think somebody have been again given a chat. Let me go and check. How to schedule jobs to run exactly on the 7th. That is what I gave you a help button, right? Go through that help button, Gayatri. That help button will be teaching you that how to run your jobs individually. Why? Because now for the 7th of every month, I cannot set and show you the output. Okay. But you can do a self-learning there because in the Jenkins, it has shown you there. Okay. And can we create a separate group to access the URL? Yes, that we will be seeing under our user under permissions. So we are about to see that user and permission. Okay. And we will discuss about the other options except post build and other general. Yes, we are going to discuss all other options. Just I have given you a introduction for you guys. So this introduction is more than enough for you to kickstart with your learning, right? So now you know what is Jenkins, how to install Jenkins, and how to create a job with Jenkins. We are going to see an advanced Jenkins. This is just an Jenkins introduction. Right? We will be going ahead with advanced Jenkins also. So all your advanced questions you can keep it. That yes, Jenkins will be doing all kind of your expectations. It will be fulfilled. Anything else? Hello. Everybody is fine?
Yeah, fine, Karthik.
Okay, I think if everyone is fine, we can drop down for today's session. And let me update you about the next session, when we can take it up and how we can take it up, in what way we can deal it up. Everything we will be discussing. Okay, so at that time I will be letting you know. Okay, so now I'm dropping down. I will be sharing you this recording also and also these notes to you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.